All right, let's crack the code on two of the most important badges you can get on Airbnb: Superhost and Guest Favorite. And look, these aren't just little shiny icons on your listing. They are massive trust signals that can literally transform your hosting business. So let's dive in and figure out how they work.
The biggest challenge for any host really boils down to one simple question. How in the world do you stand out? You're not just competing with a couple of other places down the street anymore. You're on a global stage, and the competition can feel, well, pretty intense.
Yeah, 8 million. That is a huge number of active listings. When you're swimming in a sea that vast, just having a great property isn't always enough. You've got to be visible. People have to trust you instantly. And to do that, you have to understand how Airbnb decides who gets to be seen in the first place.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with that visibility challenge. Then we'll talk about Airbnb's answer to that problem, their trust badges. We'll do a head-to-head of Superhost versus Guest Favorite. Then we'll pull back the curtain on the algorithm. And finally, we'll lay out a super clear path for you to get to the top. So let's really dig into this visibility challenge. It's not just about having a listing online, right? It's about getting that listing in front of the perfect guests at the exact moment they're ready to book. That's where the battle is really won or lost. And here's the hard truth. Your rank in the search results is everything. I mean, think about how you search for things online. How often do you really click to page 4 or 5 or 10? Almost never, right? If your listing is buried back there, it might as well be invisible. And that directly hits your bookings, your occupancy, and your bank account. So how does Airbnb help great hosts and amazing properties actually get noticed? Well, that's where these trust badges come into play. They're basically Airbnb's way of shining a big, bright spotlight on quality and reliability, helping guests pick a winner with confidence. You can think of these badges as a personal endorsement from Airbnb itself. For a guest, they're a shortcut, a way to skip the guesswork and find the best places. But for you, the host, they are an absolutely critical tool to signal quality, build instant credibility, and, most importantly, climb up those search rankings. All right, now for the main event. Let's put Superhost and Guest Favorites side by side and really break them down. Because even though they both signal excellence, they measure totally different things, and you've got to understand that difference to build your strategy. This table lays it all out perfectly. But honestly, that first row tells you almost everything. Superhost is awarded to you, the host, across your whole account. But Guest Favorite is all about a specific listing. That creates a massive difference. And notice the other details. Guest Favorite is updated daily by AI and requires a jaw-dropping 4.9-star average. It's way more dynamic and, frankly, a lot more demanding. So to put it super simply, the Superhost badge says, hey, this is a fantastic, reliable person to book with. The Guest Favorite badge says this specific apartment is absolutely beloved by guests. A Superhost can totally have some listings that are guest favorites and some that aren't. But seeing either one, that's a huge green light for a guest. Okay, we know these badges are a big deal, but how do they actually, translate into more money and more bookings? The answer is all about cracking the code of Airbnb's incredibly powerful search algorithm. This quote right here, this is the secret sauce. It came from Airbnb's own summit, and it tells us everything. The algorithm has two goals. First, to predict if a guest will book your place. And second, to predict if they're going to have an amazing 5-star experience. That's why these badges are like rocket fuel. They are proven indicators of both. And don't think for a second that this algorithm is simple. For every single search a guest makes, the system is looking at over 800 different signals to decide who to show first. It's crazy complex. Everything from your response time to the quality of your photos gets thrown into the mix. Now, 800 signals sounds overwhelming, but it all kind of boils down to these 3 big pillars: quality, popularity, and price. Quality is where your ratings, your reviews, and, you guessed it, your badges have a massive impact. Getting a badge supercharges your quality score, which then helps your popularity because more people book you. It creates this amazing upward spiral. And since the whole algorithm is chasing those 5-star reviews, you've got to know what a 5-star review is actually made of, right? It's not just one thing. It's a combination of all these factors. Was the place sparkling clean? Did the photos match reality? Were you easy to communicate with? Nailing every single one of these is how you build a foundation for earning badges and climbing the ranks. Okay, enough with the theory.
Let's switch gears and get really practical. How do you actually do this? How do you earn these badges and start climbing? Here's your checklist. So, for Superhost, it's all about being a rock-solid, consistent, and reliable host. The rules are super clear. You need to keep that overall rating above a 4.8, you've got to be lightning fast with your responses, you absolutely cannot cancel on guests, and you need to host a decent amount. That's it. Those are the 4 pillars. Now, getting the guest favorite badge for a property, well, that's a whole other level of difficulty. You need at least 5 reviews just to be in the running. Then you have to keep that average rating above a stunning 4.9 stars. You have to crush it in all those little subcategories like cleanliness and check-in, and again, basically 0 cancellations or quality issues. It is all about delivering a flawless experience every single time. So, after all that hard work, what's the payoff? Is it actually worth it? The short answer is heck yes. It's all about the money. According to Airbnb's own numbers, superhosts earn, on average, a staggering 64% more than other hosts. That visibility, that trust, it translates directly into a much, much healthier bottom line. And finally, I want to leave you with a few quick wins, things you can do today. Turn on Instant Book, seriously. Get professional photos taken. Keep your calendar totally up to date. And look into using dynamic pricing tools. Each of these things sends a strong signal to the algorithm that you are a serious, professional host.
So let's imagine you did it. You followed the playbook, you earned the badges, the bookings are just flooding in. You've made it, right? Well, maybe. But all that success brings a whole new kind of challenge. More guests means more risk, more wear and tear, more liability. Which leads to one final, crucial question. As your business scales up, is your protection scaling up with it? That's something every top host really needs to think about.